Morning, this is a little vlog from Swiss Hat. I'm going on a trek of about 10 kilometers close to Fribourg. Actually, I am at the agricultural school of Grangeneuve. Behind me you see the fields and the buildings of this school, which also has a research center for organic agriculture. We are at about 6 or 7 kilometers from Fribourg. I came here by bicycle, but you can also come by bus easily in 5 to 10 minutes. Now I'm going on a trek, as I said before, of about 10 kilometers. I'm going through the woods down to the river Sarin. Then I'm going to follow the meanders of the Sarin river. I'll cross it the first time close to a place called Tuffiere, and then the second time close to the monastery, an old monastery that is still inhabited and still active. And there I will have a lunch in the riverbed, make a little lunch and have some barbecue. So now please come with me on this trip. As you can see, the weather is gorgeous, the landscape is beautiful. It is spring, but it's still quite cold, about 9 centigrades. In front of me you see a field with these yellow flowers. This is a colza field, or canola as it's called in the US. It has quite a bad reputation in the US because it's mainly GMO. But here in Switzerland we don't have GMO food, and actually this is one of the best oils that you can have, rich in omega-3 and omega-6. Here you see down on the Sarin river that is meandering slowly through this valley. And now I'm turning slowly to show you the path we are going to take for another few hundred meters before going down to the river. We are in the middle of an agricultural area. You see these signs. One of them is telling us to keep the landscape clean, and the other is telling us that they are raising wheels and that the cows, the mother cows, can get quite aggressive in order to protect their babies. So be careful and keep your distance. Now we're going to turn left. We're going to leave this trail, which is also a bicycle trail, leading from Fribourg to Bulle. And you can see that where we are going, there's danger of meeting cows, and it's absolutely forbidden for any motor cars, motorbikes and such. It's now quite some time that I'm doing videos and posting them on YouTube. But I'm not really used to this kind of vlog thing where you have to make an online comment. It's not really my personality to show off my face so much. I think it's more interesting for the people to see where I'm going, what I'm seeing. But apparently viewers on YouTube like this kind of thing, so I'm trying to do it. It's the first time, so please excuse me if I look stupid, which I actually feel. We are going towards the woods and we are going down to the river. We started at about 600 meters over sea level, and now we are going down to about 580 meters, which is the level of the river. We are now in the trekking path in the woods. You can see this is a very active wood. It's not very clean. You have young trees, old trees. In Switzerland there is a law that each time that you cut a tree you have to plant a new one. And more now, they leave the dead wood, as you can see it here in a pile. This is a good place for small animals to hide. And this way we can maintain the biodiversity of our woods. As you can see, we are now walking down slowly on a nice slope, and on the left, by looking down, you can see the river. This is where we will end up in a few minutes. As you can see, the nature is active. We have the water here crossing the pass, and on the right a little landslide, some rubbish coming down with the rain, even if there was very little rain recently, and it is actually quite dry. They even gave out a warning that we have to be very careful if you want to make a fire in the nature. Here you can see that the terrain is mainly made from sandstone. This is a very soft stone, which is the reason that the river could dig down a canyon like this. And also most of the monuments in this area are made by sandstone, which is very easy to be used for building and for sculpting. In Fribourg we have a beautiful cathedral that is fully sculpted. But the problem is that the sandstone doesn't support the exhaust gases from the cars, so this cathedral is being renovated for the last 30 years, piece by piece. Now we are coming close to the river and we are seeing this sign warning us to be careful, because there is a dam further up the river and the hydroelectric plant, and it can happen if there's a big thunderstorm, heavy rain in the mountains, that suddenly they have to let loose a lot of water, and this can make a kind of mini tsunami that can be dangerous. But at the moment we are not in a big danger, because there was little rain and snowfalls recently, and the lake must be quite empty, so even if there's heavy rainfall, there's little danger of the lake overflowing. Here you can see how the river dug out this overhang. Now the river is very quiet, but of course if there's a lot of water it can be strong, and in the soft sandstone it's easy for the river to erode the stone. As you can see, these trekking paths are very well maintained. Stairs are being built. We have thousands of kilometers of trekking paths, and the maintenance is done to a large part by volunteers, but also paid by the local towns and villages. Okay, now we are leaving the riverbed and we are coming in this meadow, which is situated in one of the curves of the river. You see there's a lot of woodwork and agriculture. Okay, I'm taking just a short rest. I've been walking now for about 3 kilometers, 40 minutes. We are at the moment just above the level of the river at 597 meters. I told you in the beginning that we started at 600 meters, but that was probably wrong because I had just switched on the GPS and it didn't have time to find all the satellites and find the elevation. I think the elevation was about 650 meters. I removed my jacket. Even if the air is cold, when you walk you get warm, and I'm drinking some water before continuing my trip along this meadow and along the river. On the right of the trail you can see the freshly cut grass. The farmers are already starting to cut the grass in order to feed the cows. And a big part of this grass will be dried and will serve as food during the winter when there is nothing fresh to eat for the animals. Here we are going to have to cross the meadow where you can find cows. As you see, there's an electrical barrier with the gate that we open and we close again afterwards. There are no cows here at the moment, so probably the barrier isn't active, but when it is, it's better not to touch it. It's not dangerous, but it gives you quite a shock. As kids, of course, we played at there, the others, and show off by touching the barrier. I was actually wrong. As you see, there are cows on this meadow. They were just hidden behind the little hill, so I'll have to be careful when I cross the barrier again at the next gate. Other walkers, as you can see, those kids seem to be fed up. I think they're making a strike, and now the families are discussing whether to return or to continue. Pardon, excusez-moi, pas de problème. Bonjour monsieur, dame. As you can see, those trails are also used by cross-country bikers. That's why they put those metallic barriers to avoid that they come fast and then fall in the river. What you can see here is a pumping station for drinking water. We are very lucky in this area. We have over 90% of spring water. We only take very little water from deep down in the earth, and so this water is extremely clean. Okay, little rest stop, 1 hour and 8 minutes in my trip and 4.9 kilometer. Then I'm walking at quite a good speed, and now I'm stopping a little to enjoy the landscape and to drink some water. Then I will continue for another 3 kilometers approximately before I stop for having lunch. In front of us we see the little place called La Tuffiere, a group of a few farms. We will now climb up there and then go down on the other side in order to cross the river. This piece of concrete in front of us are the remainders of old fortifications that were built during Second World War. As this is a narrow river passage, it was a way to protect it from being crossed by trucks. In the back you can see the place which is also called La Tuffiere, which actually is a quarry for sandstone. And in front of us now this little village with old farms. The farms and barns are in a relatively bad state of maintenance, so I suppose that farming isn't a very good business anymore in this area. Before I made a comment on this old farm that it was in a bad state of maintenance, here now you see a modern Swiss farm. Swiss farmers get a lot of subsidies from the government. They don't really have a very good income, but it allows them to have very modern equipment. Bonjour. Nowadays, a lot of farmers sell their products directly from the farm, which gives them a better income. That's where you find this kind of publicity along their land. Okay, there was a lot of climbing again. We are again at 690 meters, which is about 90 meters above the level of the river, which you see in my back. And now we are going to climb down to the river again to cross it. Okay, and now we are going down steeply again to join the river in a few minutes, where we'll make a lunch break. Now in front we can see the monastery of Grangeneuve, which is one of the monasteries that is still active. Many monasteries here in the area of Fribourg, which is a very Catholic canton. I don't know how many monks still live in this monastery, but I know it is still active. And down here at the bridge we will go down to the river to have lunch. Where we started, at the agricultural school, and my plastic bicycle is waiting for me, and I can change my hat against my helmet and go home.